So making a murderer, everybody's talking about this.
You guys were about it first. You guys talked about it, then all of a sudden the whole world was talking about it. As usual.
Forefront. Yeah. What'd you think?
Forefront.
What'd you think? What's your takeaway?
It's long.
Yeah.
Oh, is it long? Yeah.
Oh man, it's a lot to invest in the, but riveting at times.
Yeah.
Maddening at times. Enraging at times, and then and both ways though, because you're still only getting a point of view, I think, of filmmakers who have their mind set. Right. One of the things that enraged me the most was not enraged me, but really had a distaste for was how they kept showing the victim's brother, alluding to the fact that he may have had something to do with it without having the balls to say it. Right. Just by showing his picture and showing him on camera when certain evidence was brought up or things were like that.
With no motivation.
Right. Classless and just like not having balls. Right. You just were like, you were going to show him. This is the way that will implicate that we think he may have had something to do with it without having really to say it.
Sure.
Right. Well, maybe they couldn't because they're like, well, then we'll get our ass to sue.
But
can you imagine making a documentary for 10 years?
That is some.
That's crazy.
That's keeping your nose to the fucking stone.
Yeah.
But I mean, but there's some shit in there that's just like, God help anybody that gets thrown into the system, the judicial system.
The thing that drove me fucking insane that I keep going back to. All the other evidence out the window, everything was that phone call that cop made where he read the license plate.
That's the same thing. Didn't it make you just go like,
oh, fuck.
That's it.
Yeah.
Case closed.
That's it. Like that was, to me, if you listen to that audio, no matter what the rest of the evidence is, if that's not reasonable doubt, like then nothing is. I 100%
agree with you. That was the that was the point where I was like, what jury can now sit there and go, well, I don't have reasonable doubt.
Right.
He fucking read the license plate and he knew the car.
Yeah.
And you had it right there.
Before it was reported missing. I mean, come the fuck on. Like, I'm not even saying Stephen Avery didn't do it, because I don't know.
Right.
But I do know that there's fucking reasonable doubt that he didn't do it based on that one phone call. That drove me insane, that moment.
I 100% agree with you. That was the Brady Bunch moment when they pushed the briefcase off the off the table and the guy with the
neck
the neck collar turns around and the Brady's win the case.
Yeah,
that was their moment right there.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
Unlike now, look, I know I may be offending certain listeners, but if you watched that documentary and then went on to sign a petition demanding his release, you're a fucking idiot.
Why?
Because like you said, it is the perspective of the filmmakers. Now, if you wanted him to get a retrial, that's a different story.
I would want him to get a retrial.
But there are people who were just asking for a pardon. Now, first off, it wasn't a federal crime, so he can't be federally pardoned anyway. But there was enough in there, and like the one guy who became so indignant about like, how dare you impugn the judicial system by saying police would plant evidence and blah,
the
blah,
DA,
blah.
The DA who he was almost like an actor in a movie where you play the smarmy like DA who you can't stand.
Yeah.
And then to go and see him be ruined by a fucking scandal that was almost like Hollywood.
Was that the guy that was texting the woman? He's like, sure could help you out.
You need a sugar daddy with a $350,000 house. I'm like, hey, this guy's a fucking DA, and my house is like only $50,000 less than his. What the fuck is going on out there? Like, why does he have a more expensive house?
Yeah. I could be a sugar daddy.
You have a flight coach, maybe?
You want to see the curvature?
Yeah. I thought that was weird. And again, it's just like right then.
But wasn't he the most smarmy, unlikable character? I don't want to say character, but like character in a way that I couldn't stand that DA. I couldn't stand him. And I couldn't stand, obviously, the lawyer that kid got. That first lawyer with the blonde hair.
Oh, God.
He was like, he was mentally, something was wrong with him. Yeah. The way he was smiling at the cameras and everything.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful what happened to that young kid.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sure he wasn't fucking involved somehow more than what he said.
I don't think it happened the way it happened, though, because, I mean, you've seen enough crime shows that, like, if they rape that woman and cut her throat on that
There'd
bed,
be evidence everywhere.
I don't give a
DNA,
fuck. You got to burn the house down.
Yeah.
And even then, they fucking find DNA.
They show you like when they go into the garage. There is more shit in that garage than Sanford Arms.
Yep.
So there's no way they can clean everything.
With Lamont or the Fat Bubba guy in fucking overalls, which version of Sanford Arms?
I mean,
Well, if you read offline that bullet that they found in there with her blood on it, they like if you research the evidence that they didn't put in,
right?
They said that it was shot from a 22, like the one he has over his bed. They couldn't match it to his gun. They couldn't
match the ballistics.
Just the type of gun. So it's not even like a fucking dead match to his gun. And like that's what they were hanging so much on.
So what do you think? If your fucking feet are to the fire,
yeah,
you got to give me your. This is great.
Yeah.
BQ's.
I think I got
BQ's
it.
Summary.
Judge Cutie.
What happened from based on what you know, reading online and watching murder?
This is what I think happened.
Okay.
I think his
from the like everything. I want to.
Oh well, what I think happened is this. I think that his brother-in-law did it.
Who Avery's brother-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the guy, his sister with the son who went to jail, her husband.
Her husband.
That kid's Brendan's stepfather. I think he did it. Is my theory.
I've heard that theory from a couple people.
Yeah, because he had access. He had he set up that alibi where they're like, we drove past each other at exactly 3-something, blah blah blah. That the bus driver they had a time that the school bus driver discredited. Was like, no, I drive by there every day. I didn't see anybody. Then he lied about the fire. He was like, oh, the fire was 10 feet high. Yeah. But if you look at his fucking thing, it was only his first statement was like it was only a fucking couple of feet high. And the way that the sister reacted, her flipping back and forth
with her son,
and with her brother.
But I don't think she flipped. I felt really, really sorry for her because you could feel her hopes raise when her son says, I didn't have anything to do with this. And then when he calls her on the phone and says he did have something to do with it, you could hear her voice, like the shock and the repulsion of you did have something to do with this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You think she knew?
I don't think she knows. I think that her husband is at home swaying her. That's why she's on TV giving that.
Why isn't he on any camera?
I'm telling you, in my opinion,
he's smart.
Yeah, he was the one that did it.
Is there anybody even smart in that fucking?
Yeah, the guy who fucking did it and is like, I ain't getting on camera.
Yeah.
So you think it was the brother-in-law?
I think it was the brother-in-law.
All right, so okay, tell me this then.
Okay.
How does all that evidence get into the Avery junkyard and into the Avery house?
Well, he lives there. They live on the compound.
So you don't think the cops had anything to do with it?
I think the cops got there and moved the evidence around.
You do think the cops?
Oh, without a doubt.
Moved and,
I don't think the cops killed her. I definitely don't think the cops killed her. I think the cops decided that Avery did it and then made the evidence fit it.
Because you saw that fucking how many cars were in there. Those 2 fucking volunteers go in, and within 15 minutes, they're like, "Oh, here it is."
2 volunteer? What? Those 2 ladies?
Those 2 ladies.
So you think? Do you think those 2 ladies knew where it was?
They were probably told to search.
But those 2 ladies were not related to the Averys.
I think it was placed in a spot.
By the cops.
Yes.
He had a car crusher. Why the fuck wouldn't he just crush that car up to nothing?
Avery.
It makes no sense.
And hadn't they?
And he had $32 million coming his fucking way. Why would he do anything to fuck that up?
You're talking about maybe a man who's mentally ill though, and is damaged by the life he lived.
Damaged to the tune of $32 million. I don't know.
I thought the worst theory came from Avery's mother, who said that she thinks maybe the Teresa Hallback is still alive. It's like
She said that.
Yeah.
On in the show.
that was not on the show.
Oh,
It was on
People magazine?
additional evidence, and it's like they found her burned remains, like they found her tooth. Although I don't know, how can you tell somebody got raped when you just find a tooth?
Did you agree though? Did you feel that the filmmakers kept showing the brother and kept like they never had any kind of comments from the mother or the father, but yet they kept showing him talking and him. And
Yeah,
I know. Felt like
he-
they were trying to like plant the seed of like, did he have something to do with
I
it?
think I think that that the way
I thought that
they,
was shitty.
maybe, but they're so close to the case. Maybe they see something that
Yeah,
that
okay.
we don't know. You know
That's
what I mean?
true. But to do that though, and not really give us a reason why you did that though,
Right.
I would hope there's more than for why you would plant that seed and view. Because if you'd have to be fucking pretty oblivious not to realize that they were trying to always put his face when something
And
came
he had
up.
a weird looking face too. Like he looked like the type of guy you'd be like, yeah, he killed her.
Wasn't it weird the video too she made? She's like, I just want everyone to know that when I die, like even I wouldn't make something like that. And that was just bizarre.
Yeah,
that
well,
she made
this
that.
such a crazy.
There was like the reason, like, look, I know the guy doesn't deserve to go to jail for a sexual assault he didn't commit. But when I found out, like, it's like he soaked his own family cat in kerosene
Yeah.
and threw it in a fire. I'm like, fuck him.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
I felt, fuck him, piece
Do you
of
think
shit.
he was having sex on the lawn?
On the lawn?
Yeah, that was one of the things that he was charged with. That really pissed him off. Why he pulled the gun on his cousin.
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, quite a few weird things were said about him. I don't think he was the most
white,
normal
They're
guy.
like white trash.
Yeah, like,
family. It's like
one of the things was I was talking, like the girl that I talked to about this, we call it the Wisconsin how do you do, like you answer a door in a towel, because that's how he would answer the door. But it's like, that's just, I was talking to Q about it, and he was like, that's just a white trash wooing mentality. I'm sure that at one point it was like, hey, Tabby, come on in. Don't mind the towel.
What do you think? Do you agree with the Q's? What's it called? Judge Cuties?
I think Judge Cutie is pretty close to the mark. But I also heard this, which I found very interesting. There was a serial killer. His name is Edward Edwards. Have you heard of this guy?
No. Edward Edwards.
Can you imagine?
No.
Can you fucking imagine doing that to your kid?
The mom or the dad are like, it'll be funny.
Yeah, exactly. This is a guy who killed a bunch of people. He didn't get caught until like 2009. He'd been killing people since the 60s. Now, he allegedly committed his first murder in 1945 when he was 12 years old and didn't stop killing people until 2009 when he was captured at the age of 76 in Jefferson, Wisconsin. He supposedly taunted police much of his life, but they couldn't find the evidence they needed to pin the murders on him. Now, his thing was, according to, writers and the cops, he would kill people and then frame other people for the murders, like make it look like they did it, sit back and watch. That's like how he sort of fucking got off.
How many times did he do this? How many times successfully did he pull this off? Because framing somebody is not easy to do.
A couple times, they said.
He successfully
I'm looking at
framed
this.
somebody that served time for his crimes?
Served time and was executed for his crimes. They said Edwards killed several of his victims on Halloween. Halbach disappeared from the Avery junkyard on October 3rd, 2005. He lived only an hour away from the Avery junkyard, and he was also known for going to the trials of people that he had framed. There's a one scene, a couple frames where someone who looks a lot like this motherfucker is in the background just looking at the camera.
Really?
Yeah. It's pretty fucking weird.
Where'd you hear this thesis?
The girl that I talked to about it sent it to me, and it's on YouTube. It's like Edward Wayne Edwards was framed by, could have been framed by, Stephen Avery could have been framed by this Edwards. It's called Making a Murderer, Edward Wayne Edwards Theory. It's on YouTube. It's only like 14 minutes, but it was pretty interesting.
If you're Stephen Avery,
yeah,
and you didn't do it, how do you face every day?